Me. I couldn't believe it.
Why make excuses when you can make music?
Why wait?
Just play. This message brought to you by the NAM Foundation.
Now that Human Resources Director Fernando Pino has Kronos for HR, payroll, talent, and time, he's completely crushing it. He even has his own hype song.
Supporting our entire workforce. Everyone has different hours, skill sets, and pay grades. Motivating and engaging our people every step of the way.
Kronos, HR solutions for the modern workforce and the people who support them. Learn more at kronos.com/HR swagger.
I'm on the top, I'm gonna rise up. I'm on the top, I'm gonna rise up. I'm on the top.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns, and that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there.
We are broadcasters, your home for Pensacola sports, ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
It's almost time for Sertoma's 4th of July celebration in downtown Pensacola. Watch Old Seville Square come alive this 4th of July with free activities starting at 11 a.m., including a children's area with inflatables, rock climbing wall, pony rides, face painting, live entertainment, food, and much more. Don't forget the amazing fireworks over Pensacola Bay at 9 with a perfectly synchronized music broadcast on Cat Country 98.7, presented by the Law Office of J.J. Talbot. For more info, visit PensacolaFireworks.com.
Introducing. Nah, not big enough. It's the brand new. Nah, still not big enough. Introducing the brand new French-inspired topped with fresh fruit crepes lineup, only at Denny's. Yeah, that's better. There's the new banana chocolate hazelnut crepes, the banana berry caramel crepes, and the strawberry vanilla crepes, made with fresh strawberries, strawberry sauce, and vanilla cream. Fresh fruit, French, and delicious. Come try all three. See you at Denny's. Price and participation may vary. Limited time only.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5. I'm Jordan Glass with your Pensacola Sports Update for UW.
The following has been produced by Talk Football LLC. Former Florida Gators quarterback, NFL quarterback, and NFL head coach. Coach K. Stevenson has a resume second to none, and now he's sharing his insider information with you. Talk Football with Coach K starts right now on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on your HD radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT and streaming on our website, ESPNpensacola.com. Welcome into Talk Football with Coach K. I'm Jordan Glass, joined alongside me as always, Coach K. And Coach, as we start off today's show, obviously we've got to start it off with some sad news here, as it looks like Pat Bowlen, the owner, the longtime owner of the Denver Broncos, has passed away, and that was a announcement that was made a little earlier this morning. Again, Pat Bowlen passing away, the owner of the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, and it is sad news. It really is. Great owner. Had a lot to do with television packages, with the future of the league, with arrangements with the Players Association, negotiation there, and also international. He had a lot to do with many aspects of modern day NFL. When he bought that team, I never forget when he bought it, he paid $80 million for it, and everybody thought that was outrageous. Yeah. He'll never get his money back. Now it's worth over $2 billion. That was a mere drop in the bucket, you know. But he was a Canadian guy, came down, businessman, had a lot of foresight, and was a good guy. He was Pat Bowlen was, in addition to being a very productive owner for that football team and a great contributor to the National Football League, he was a good guy.
And, you hear all the things that are being said about him right now, but I think one of the things that stands out, and Coach kind of touched on it there a little bit, former Denver Bronco receiver Rod Smith once said about him that he's the one that's behind the scenes of everything they do, that he's actually the guy that gives them that championship feeling there in Denver. So the Broncos definitely are going to take a hard hit from this, and obviously our thoughts and prayers go out to his entire family.
Well, you bet, that's for sure, and they are going to take a hit. There's no doubt about it, but some way, somehow they'll recover. But they're a good franchise. They really are a great franchise. A lot of it due to him.
All right, Coach, I want to kind of get into, because now we're starting to get into the OTAs. We're starting to get into the mini camps and things like that for most NFL teams, or really for all NFL teams. Coach Mike Tomlin came out, obviously the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They had an interesting season, to say the least, last year with just everything going on with Le'Veon Bell. Then once that situation kind of started to show that it was coming to a close, the Antonio Brown situation started up. Coach, you take a look at this situation for the Steelers. This is going to be a team that's a little broken heading into this season. But Mike Tomlin's kind of telling people, look, you can't judge us on our chemistry this early, right now, where we're at, because we haven't even faced adversity yet, so we don't even know what we're going to be like when we're down 2 touchdowns halfway through the fourth quarter and we have to try to fight back and come back in a game. So, Coach, right now, Mike Tomlin urging people not to judge his team off of chemistry for this time of the year, but waiting to see what actually happens once the season gets going.
Well, he's exactly right, and you never know what's going to happen. And these are things you can't prepare for other than to hopefully have a football team that is they're very much intact with each other, and they pull for each other, and there's some way, somehow you'll get the leadership then, and they'll pull through it. But he's right to be very cautious now.
All right, Coach, it looks like Jalen Ramsey, and they're comfortable with the talks that the Jags will renegotiate, or excuse me, that they will not renegotiate his contract with 2 years left on the deal. But Coach, Jalen is kind of coming out, and he's actually tweeted, said, I'm going to ask for so much money, they have to put me on layaway. Coach, basically Jalen Ramsey coming out saying, look, I'm not going to ask for what I'm asking for is not going to be negotiated with. I'm asking for what I want. It's either going to be that or nothing at all. And Coach, this is, again, just it seems like we found our new Le'Veon Bell for this upcoming season.
Yeah, Jalen needs to go get that ball pumped up and get his whistle around his neck and get ready to go out on the playground and referee some kids' games or whatever he's got to do, because I'll tell you, if he's paid what he's worth, he may have to take a cut in salary.
No, you are absolutely right on that, Coach. He's a guy who can make plays for you, but the money he's going to probably be asking for, not entirely sure if that's amount of money that the Jags are going to be willing to pay him, or even could pay him, obviously bringing in the guys that they brought in the offseason. All right, Coach, looks like Baker Mayfield, Duke Johnson, it's some drama that bubbled up a year ago. It could be washed away by the fact that they are now kind of working together as teammates during training camp. Coach, this is something that Jarvis Landry says, look, this is maybe just something that's for headlines. It's a non-issue. There's nothing to worry about. But, Coach, if your quarterback's having a little bit of drama with one of your running backs, that might be something to worry about a little bit if you're Freddie Kitchens.
Well, I think to a certain extent you're right, but you also can't let it get out of hand, or you can't overblow it. And you got some of these things. You got to hope that your leaders on your football team step up and solve in the locker room, rather than everything having to go to the head coach. And hopefully that'll happen. Now, I don't know if Cleveland is to the point yet where they have that type of leadership, but we'll find out pretty soon. I mean, if this boils over too big. You know what they have to do. There's no question about what they have to do. They have to get rid of the back to get him out of there if he's going to cause a problem with your number one draft pick and your quarterback. It just can't happen that way. So it's not a good situation, but hopefully the leadership will step forward, and it'll be a good maturing process for the Cleveland Browns.
All right, Coach. We've talked about this before, and Sports Illustrated has an article here that I think it's obviously it's an opinionated piece because it just bases off the opinion of the person reading it or the person writing it. But Coach, they are asking if you could start an NFL team with one non-quarterback player in the NFL, who would it be? And as far as active players right now, Coach, we've talked about it before. To build a successful team, you need to start out with a quarterback, somebody to protect the quarterback, and then somebody to pass rush the opposing quarterback. So, Coach, with that being said, who would be the one non-quarterback player, or are there a couple of non-quarterback players that you would like to build an NFL team around?
Well, if it's a non-quarterback player, then I'm going to go out and get the very best pass rusher I can find. And I would also, you'd have to have at least a serviceable back, running back along with that. But it says it means the one person there, I think you'd have to go get a great pass rusher, because you could line up 22 and play to a certain extent with those people, play very vanilla football, but a great pass rusher would give you a chance to take over the football game if he can get to the quarterback.
No, you are absolutely right on that, Coach. You got to go with a good pass rusher there to affect that opposing quarterback. All right, Coach, let's move on now to some college football here. Looks like Herm Edwards is going to go the Mike Leach route and during the offseason teach a class there at Arizona State, where he's the head coach. Coach, Herm is going to be teaching sports media classes, and you got to think this is a guy that he went around, and this is something I'm okay with. I'm perfectly fine with this. When we hear about Urban Meyer teaching etiquette classes or whatever it was at Ohio State, then Mike Leach teaching history of war, whatever it was he's teaching at Washington State. But, Coach, you hear this and you think Herm Edwards, sports media class, this is a guy that had such a successful career as a broadcaster on ESPN. He also was a guy that spoke at the NFL rookie introduction ceremonies, and he would speak about how social media could impact you, how media is beneficial to you. And one of his big things is think before you hit sin. So, Coach, I think teaching a sports media class there at Arizona State, I think that's something that's right up Herm Edwards' alley.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to have the class for any of these kids, college or pro ball as they come in. He would have an inside track certainly on what they're trying to get out of people, certainly in television, and that there's a lot of it that you have to be aware of there, which I think is good that he can give them a heads up on it. For example, they'll have a production meeting and they'll say, out of Jordan, we want to get this about his good friend Bill, who plays tackle on the other side, and there's something going on there. We've got to get it out. Don't let him leave there until we get something that we can go with. Okay, and I mean they're pretty shaky on the way they can get things done.
No, you are absolutely right on that, Coach. And I want to shift gears now and talk about some head coaches inside college football because yesterday we actually, or I believe it was the day before, we were talking about on the Sports Drive. We were talking about college coaches and where they rank and how they rank, Coach. There was a list given out by Lindy Sports, the top 130 coaches in college football. So it basically ranked all coaches in college football, and it was a really intriguing story here, Coach, and I'm trying to pull up the article right now and get it up here. But obviously top of the list at number 1, you've got Nick Saban sitting there. I think that's a no-brainer, Coach. But at number 2, you've got Dabo Swinney, another no-brainer. But then, Coach, at number 3, you've got Jimbo Fisher sitting there with Texas A&M.
Yeah, that's interesting. Jimbo's a good coach, and with all the facilities and everything he's got going at Texas A&M, brilliant move, by the way. For him to go out there, I think it is a gold mine for any coach that has the ability to get players and then coach them up, and he can do both. So, yeah, I could see where Jimbo would be right up there.
All right, Coach. Then we go to number 4. You got Kirby Smart.
You'd have to at this point, just based on what he's done at Georgia. I mean, the guy goes there, and I think his second year he's in the championship game. Was it a year off? At any rate, he's played in the playoffs. He's played in the national championship game. He's been to the SEC championship game. He's won the SEC. He's done more at Georgia in a shorter period of time. I defy you to go back to too many colleges. I don't care where it is. Maybe with Duke Rockne at Notre Dame, but if you go back and look at coaches and their tenure at a college, a major college, and what they've done, it would be tough to duplicate what Kirby's done.
That's right, Coach. 4 years as a college football head coach. He's 32-10 in those 4 years. All right, Coach, coming up behind him, you've got a guy 24-4 as a head coach, and that's Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma.
Yeah, I like Lincoln. I think he's done an outstanding job. So I could see him there, certainly, absolutely.
All right, Coach, and then at number 6, you've got Chris Peterson, former Boise State head coach, now with the Washington Huskies.
Always done a good job. Listen, this guy, when he was at Boise State, I thought he did one of the best jobs in the country repeatedly, and was offered major college jobs, didn't take them, didn't want to go. He finally takes the Washington job, and he's done a good job there. He's been to the they were in the playoff championship 4, I think 2 years or 3 years ago. He's done a good job at Washington. It's just going to be it's going to be hard for him to continue that same level of competition that he has now.
All right, Coach, and then coming up at number 7, you've got Brian Kelly in Notre Dame.
Brian Kelly, he really changed his style, his whole approach to football after 2 years ago, and has tried to become more of a mellow, feet on the ground type coach rather than the always jumping up in the air type guy. Now, I thought they had a young quarterback last year, did a good job. He's going to be back. Notre Dame should be a good football team. They should be a team to contend with. I think depending on how they come out this year, is how I would rate Kelly. If they slide again, Jordan, then I don't know if we could put him in that category.
All right, Coach, and coming up at number 8, you've got Dan Mullen going into year 2 with the Florida Gators.
Well, he did a good job last year. You have to admit that. I think he did a heck of a job. But he he needs to take the next step now. And, you know, it's sad to say, but sometimes for your own reputation and your own career, things may happen too good too quick. And he may have had too much success early. So what's expected now? You know, like you've done that now, you need to win a national championship. And right now, they're not ready to do that. But he's done a good job, and I like where he is.
All right, Coach. Another coach that's kind of on that same level with him. You've got Tom Herman sitting here at number 9 behind him.
Yeah, and think about what he's done at Texas. I don't know how you could leave him out of the top 10. He's had a few bumps he's had to overcome, but he's done a good job. He's a good football coach. I know that. I know he was years with Urban Meyer, and so was, oddly enough, so was Mullen. But I think Herman and Texas this year, some big games we're going to see with those Texas Longhorns. I like where Herman is. I think you have to put him in there.
All right, Coach, and then we'll round out the top 10 here before we take a break. You've got Jim Harbaugh, the head coach from Michigan.
Jim's going to have to win. I don't think he should be in the top 10 right now. I think he's got to win the conference championship or at least beat Ohio State to get in there.
All right, Coach. Well, we'll take our first time out of the show. When we come back, more Talk Football with Coach K coming up next on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Sometimes your bank, your family, and your friends love you, but they don't have the money to help you. Sometimes we have chances to make money, but the old saying, you've got to have money to make money, rings true. At Pensacola Specialty Pond, we can help. If you have trucks, heavy equipment, airplanes, boats, jet skis, anything with value, Pensacola Specialty Pond can loan you that short-term money you need. No credit checks, and at Pensacola Specialty Pond, you're going to find the money and the discretion you need.
Now at 6428 Pensacola Boulevard, north of Car City. Call 432-9050, 432-9050.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
Hi, Buster Olney here, and my friends at Marathon are really helping you save because right now you can get 5 cents off every gallon every day with Make It Count rewards from Marathon. Plus, you can earn points for additional savings on fuel, airfare, hotels, and more. It's quick and easy to join. Just visit makeitcount.com/radio or download the free app. So start saving today with Make It Count from Marathon. Offer valid only at participating Marathon locations. Marathon, fueling the American spirit.
The weather's heating up, which means it's the perfect time to get that next job done. At AutoZone, we have the free services you need to do it right. Like our free AutoZone Loan-A-Tool program. It's simple. You choose from over 100 specialty tools, borrow the one you need, and get the job done right. The best part? It's all free. Our tools even come with operating instructions so you'll know exactly how to use them. Getting the job done just got easier. Let us help you at more than 5,600 locations nationwide. Deposit required. See store for restrictions and details.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Don't drop the ball this football season. Make Tom Thumb your game day destination. We are your first round pick for snacks, chips, dips, and drinks. Are you tailgating before the game? Don't get blindsided. Head to Tom Thumb for all your supplies. Score big savings with our rewards card. You'll earn 4 fuel points for every $1 spent in store. From hot dogs and buns to ice and propane, Tom Thumb has you covered to help you enjoy the game. For the ultimate game day, team up with Tom Thumb, the local store for local champions.
Pensacola 94.5, also on your HD radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT, and streaming on our website, ESPNpensacola.com. Welcome back into Talk Football with Coach K. I'm Jordan Glass, joined alongside me as always, Coach K. And welcome in again. It is Friday, June 14th, and we're having a lot of fun here. And Coach, figured we would continue our schedule here, our schedule looks here, where we take a look at either a college or an NFL team. And Coach, a team we haven't done yet, but we've talked about quite a bit, is Florida State. They are a team coming off an abysmal year with Willie Taggart as their head coach, and he's definitely going to have to get things turned around in year 2, or else the pressure's already on him, because anytime you're the head football coach at a school like Florida State, the pressure is on you. But when you go 5-7 your first year, Coach, I think they might have expected a little bit more than that from him year 1. Coach, the team just – and it wasn't – with Florida State, it wasn't something to where you look at Nebraska and maybe Nebraska just didn't quite have the personnel to run that Scott Frost type team. So you kind of maybe give them a little bit of a pass because there's growing pains there. Same with Arkansas in the season they had. But with Florida State, Coach, they had talented players that could be talented athletes and be productive athletes inside the systems that Willie Taggart likes to run, whether it be offense or defense. There was just no discipline there. There was no preparedness. There was no readiness with this team. And, Coach, that was something that was a big red flag for them in year 1. He's going to have to correct those heading into year 2. And they're going to get it started off at home. Not at home. They're going to get it started off actually in Jacksonville on August 31st against the Boise State Broncos.
Yeah, the biggest thing they've got going for them there is the heat and the humidity that Boise State will have to contend with. That totally will be something new to them. Now, you hit it right on the head with the Florida State program. Their program at this point, we would have to say, is still in disarray until we see that it's been organized and there's some discipline in the program. We yet to see that. We haven't seen it yet. It was an abysmal first year. And if they don't get things turned around, Jordan, I will tell you, the second year is going to be worse. Because if they have any repeat, anything like last year, that's not going to fly. It can't fly. So I would say the prospects are either turn it around, get organized, get some discipline in that program, get players doing what you think, what you know they should be doing, and heck with it, let's don't back up any at all. And that's the approach I think they have to take. But that first game, it's a long-winded story here, but it is true for the whole season. I tell you what, I think they're going to have trouble beating Boise State in that first ball game down there. Now listen, here's something you got to remember. Boise State is well coached.
Mm-hmm.
They've had a whole spring and summer to get ready for Florida State. Not a very good football team. They're going to be well prepared, and they're going to take advantages of any weaknesses, and unless they've got them shored up, replaced with better players, and a better scheme and more disciplined scheme, then Boise State's going to take advantage of it. I think they win the ball game, Boise State.
All right, so we'll start Florida State off 0-1 on the year. Coach, they'll head home to Doak Campbell Stadium to take on the ULM Warhawks. So Louisiana Monroe coming in to take on the Florida State Seminoles in Tallahassee. Coach, this could be a little bit of a tough game for them coming off of that opening loss to Boise.
Well, it could, but if anything should wake them up, that should be a wake-up call. And now that first game's in Jacksonville. This game is in Tallahassee. Big difference there. I think we got to give Florida State credit enough to pick up the pieces after a big loss, opening game loss like that to Boise State. Pick the pieces up, go home, and play a good enough football game with the athletes they do have. They still have some athletes that they could beat Northwest Louisiana. Is it Northwestern Louisiana?
It's just Louisiana Monroe.
Louisiana Monroe, okay. Gotcha.
All right, Coach. Then on September 14th, they'll hit the road ahead to Scott Stadium in Charlottesville to take on the Virginia Cavaliers.
Oh, big problem. Virginia's going to be much better this year. And at Charlottesville, getting FSU in there after all the years that they've taken abuse from Florida State, I think it's going to be payback time for Virginia, certainly playing on their campus. Yeah, I think they win that one.
All right, Coach, they'll head back home to Doak Campbell Stadium for 2 weeks before their bye week. The first of those 2 home games will be the Louisville Cardinals on September 21st.
Now, Louisville's another team that really, really took a nosedive, and they've got the same situation facing them. They've got to get some things totally reorganized. They've got another coach coming in, so we'll see what his system and his approach to football has to do with turning it around. But now they play Louisville in Tallahassee.
They do, yes.
Right. I think now Florida State should be by all rights should be a year ahead of Louisville right now. Let's give Florida State the edge. They're being at home.
All right, Coach, that puts them at 2-2 heading into their game on September 28th. The North Carolina State Wolfpack come to Doak Campbell Stadium.
North Carolina State is extremely well coached. Now, they lost some good players. They lost a good quarterback, and they lost a hell of a lineman. But I think they're still a good football team. Let's give NC State the edge there.
All right, Coach, so that puts them at 2-3 heading into their bye week on October 5th. When they get off of that, they head to Memorial Stadium to Clemson to face off against Clemson on October 12th.
Mr. Hard Times lives up there, and I don't think they can even think about. We won't elaborate on that. If they've improved 1,000%, they will go in and win that ball game.
All right, Coach, and then they'll stay on the road the next week, October 19th, taking on the Wake Forest Demon Deacons.
Now, listen, that's going to be a rough football game for them. I can tell you. Wake Forest plays a tough brand of football, and at home they've been especially tough. But I think I think we got to give Florida State a little edge here, and let's say they go in and beat the Demon Deacons there, and they've got to have that circled, that game. They've got to have that circled as a must win.
All right, Coach, now they'll head back home to Doak Campbell Stadium, but it doesn't get any easier. A team that's very tough to play at home or on the road, the Syracuse Orange, coming in on October 26th. By the way, this is homecoming for Florida State.
Oh, boy, bad homecoming. Syracuse is a good football team. Almost beat Clemson last year. I think Syracuse could contend. They'll contend in the country for, the top 10 teams in the country. I think they go in and beat Florida State there.
All right, Coach, they'll stay at home for their first of 2 rivalry games for in-state teams. Coach, they'll welcome in the Miami Hurricanes on November 2nd.
I just wonder who's going to be the most improved at that point. That's what I would be looking at. But you probably got to think it's Miami because they've got an awful lot of kids coming back, and they did start off hot last year. Just couldn't sustain it. Let's give Miami the win there.
All right, Coach. So Miami gets that win, drops Florida State to 3-6 on the year. They'll now head to November 9th on the road, Alumni Stadium in Chestnut Hill, taking on Steve Adazio and the Boston College Eagles.
I'd like to think Florida State's going to win one of these ball games along here that we're talking about, but I don't see them winning this ball game. I really don't. I think Boston College is going to be a good, sound football team. They're not going to be in the top 10 in the country, but they're going to be a good football team, tough football team, and they're going to play it up there in Boston. You got to give BC the edge there.
All right, Coach. Next on November 16th, they'll head back home to Doak Campbell Stadium, and they'll be taking on a team that, Coach, nobody really was thinking about or talking about until the NFL draft rolled around. Then the first round happens. Late in the first round, they actually have a player selected, and it's, of course, Alabama State. They'll head into Tallahassee to take on Florida State.
No, well, Florida State will be very, very happy to see Alabama State come in. If they lost that ball game, it'd be Katie bar at the door. No, they win that.
All right, Coach. Then they'll have an off week November 23rd before heading to Gainesville to take on the Florida Gators. You got to expect November 30th. This Florida team going to be a top 10, top 15 team with maybe 2 or 3 losses. This is really going to be a tough game for them.
Yeah, in Gainesville too. So, yeah, you got to take Florida there. I wouldn't see that going any other way.
All right, Coach. So that puts Florida State, FSU at 4-8 on the year. So, Coach, that's actually a game worse than what they were a year ago. Coach, at that point in time, do we see if they do go 4-8, or even a worst case scenario 3-9 on the year? Do we see Willie Taggart get relieved of his duties after year 2, or do they try to give him one more year?
Even if they win 5 or 6 games, and they're going to beat somebody along the way there that maybe we have them down for a loss right now, because so much of what we're looking at is reflecting back on last year's very poor football team. So you got to give them some credit for improvement, probably. But even if it's 5 or 6, he's in real trouble. There's no doubt about it. Now, if it's 3 or 4, I don't think they can keep him.
All right, Coach. Well, we'll take a break on that note. When we come back, more Talk Football with Coach K coming up next right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
Your old gas yard tools have met their match. Right now, the Home Depot has Father's Day savings on the Ego 56-volt cordless trimmer and blower combo kit, just $249. It has the performance of gas without the hassle. It's 2 powerful tools powered by a 56-volt lithium-ion battery platform, and right now, it's at a price no one can match. Today is the day for doing with the Ego trimmer and blower combo, just $249, only at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing, while supplies last.
Are you a big guy fed up with clothes that don't fit? Here's a tip. Head to DXL. Anyone can make a bigger shirt, but DXL makes clothes that actually fit. It's all they do. Want to know their secret? Okay, they've spent years developing their own sizing patterns to make sure it's a comfortable fit every time and every size. Good luck finding that anywhere else. So head to DXL.com and check out a store near you. DXL Big and Tall, built for you at DXL.com.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on your HD radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT, and streaming on our website, ESPNpensacola.com. Welcome back into Talk Football with Coach K. I'm Jordan Glass, joined alongside me as always, Coach K. And, we started going over these unit rankings as part of this Lindy Sports magazines where they're going position by position. And we went over the backfield, which kind of combined the quarterback and running backs. And we also went over the receivers as well. Coach, want to pick up on that now with the top offensive line. This is the top 10 offensive line units inside the country for college football. Coach, we're going to start it off number 1. Obviously, you've got the number 1 backfield being Clemson. they get the number one spot at offensive line as well.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that doesn't bode well for a lot of people. I'm telling you, Clemson with the number one backfield, which really, really puts up an emphasis on that quarterback they have. And then with the offensive line, the interesting thing about the offensive line there is they're ranked right now, according to Lindy's, as the top offensive line. They got they don't even have them listed there as, I don't think, as two of the top recruits they have coming in this year. The 20, I may be mistaken, I may be off by a few numbers, but I think the 20th and maybe the 6th or 7th rated offensive lineman in the country added to their offensive line this year. And one of them, at least one of them, is expected to start. So, my goodness, Clemson is well loaded, and they're going to be loaded for bear.
All right, Coach, moving to our next team now. We've got at number 2, you've got to protect Jake Fromm because really you don't know what you have behind Jake Fromm. So Coach George's offensive line unit coming in at 2nd.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see that. I think Georgia has had a good offensive line the last couple of years, and they seem to replenish themselves there pretty well. Good size on their offensive line, and you might imagine that Kirby Smart likes that big road grader type offensive line. So not a surprise, and yeah, they've got to protect Fromm, and they also do a good job running the football.
All right, Coach, how about at number 3, you've got the Michigan Wolverines. The conversation's kind of really been Jim Harbaugh not really been able to do much with this Michigan team, but, Coach, they still have the number 3 offensive line unit in the country.
You know, that's unusual because all he talked about when he first went there was we're going to blow people off the ball. We're going to use a fullback like nobody uses anymore. And we're also going to have a tight end. And we're just going to line up and blow people off the ball. It hasn't happened, certainly to the better football teams it hasn't happened. So they're going to have to prove that they've got that good an offensive line. Now, if you can't help them any with a fullback and a tight end, and you don't have the ability to run the old leads and whams and like we used to run with a fullback tight end, then I think you got to move to the more spread type offenses that you see now, and then that puts more pressure on the offensive line. But that's what you got to do.
All right, Coach. Our next team coming up at number 4 is a team that there are going to be some people here in Pensacola watching this guy really close. It's the Alabama offensive line led by junior Alex Leatherwood. Coach, you take a look at Alex Leatherwood. Had to play on the right side of the ball last year, but he's going to be switching over and playing left tackle this year for the Crimson Tide. That's his normal spot where he's comfortable at playing, and Coach, he's a product of this area from Washington High School. And that Alabama offensive line, while being ranked at 4, Nick Saban expects some really good things for them in this upcoming year.
Yeah, and the other thing about this young man is on a couple of different ratings, he's rated the 2nd best tackle in college football. Well, that's quite a thing to be there. That'll put him in an unbelievable situation if that is the case, and the pros have him rated there. That's the key. Then he will be a very, very high draft pick and will be a very wealthy young man.
All right, Coach, our next team at number 5, you've got Iowa. No surprise here, a team that likes to run the football, have a very power-based offense as far as running the ball. No surprise that they're sitting here in the top 5 of offensive line units in the country.
No, it's not. They usually have a good offensive line. They can usually line up and butt heads with anybody, and they're in a great recruiting area for offensive linemen. They get them and they teach them well, and they've got a good weight program out there at Iowa too, better than Nebraska. You know, for years you used to think Nebraska had the best weight training program in the country with all their facilities, and so they were the first ones to supposedly go real heavy with it. Interesting fact, we drafted a number 1 draft pick, offensive lineman years ago out of Nebraska, and he was the weakest offensive lineman we had on our football team. Unbelievable, and great kid. He not because he sloughed work, but because he worked very hard when he was there. But he was absolutely. We thought he'd be the strongest, and set another tone for our offensive lineman. It was just the opposite.
Wow.
But at any rate, Iowa. Back to this. We're talking about Alabama and Iowa. We're talking about 2 schools that both schools are gonna. They work on being the best up front, and I think Alabama maybe more so than Iowa, but Iowa has always had a good offensive line. I've felt like for many years.
All right, Coach, and we'll stay inside the state of Iowa for our next team because coming up at number 6, you've got Iowa State. The Cyclones will be returning all 5 starters from last year's productive offensive line. And, Coach, if you're a head coach, that's your dream right there, to return all 5 starters on your offensive line, especially from an offensive line that had such success like they did last year for Iowa State. So, Coach, number 6 right here in the country as far as offensive lines goes, Iowa State. You might even could maybe bump them up a couple of spots as well because of the way that they played a year ago. The fact that they're going to be back, they're going to be even better this year.
Well, I think we're finding out the reason that Iowa State is rated as well as they're rated overall as a football team. Gosh, you're right. You get your 5 offensive linemen coming back. That's a great gift. Now, we knew that Iowa State, you're right, played better the last year than we would have expected, and they were tough on everybody. Well, I'll tell you, this year you best not play them. I'll tell you, they look like they're going to be formidable. Without offensive line, listen, think about it. I could take 5 guys coming back who all know what they're doing, and that's believe me, that's a very big part of the game. Is those 5 people working together as one, with all the different calls you got to make, and the slip blocks, the traps, the double teams, and picking up dogs and blitzes and knowing where they're coming from. It's a very, very difficult thing, and the calls have to be last minute, bang. And so if you've got 5 coming back, that gives you a heck of an edge there. Now, if they're all 5, representable type offensive linemen, now you can put, if you're good up front, you can put a lot of different backs back there. And I'm not saying you'll get the same production from them, but you'll get good production from virtually any back that you put behind an outstanding offensive line.
All right, Coach, and another team that actually is, this was a surprise to me, sitting here reading the, each team has like a little excerpt with them here when they give the ranking, and I was sitting here reading this one for our next team. I was unaware that they will be bringing back all 5 starters as well, Coach. That's the Auburn Tigers, so the offensive line from last year will be returning for Auburn as well, and Coach, they've got one of the best left sides in all of the SEC between Prince Tega Wangaho and then, of course, Markel Harrell. Coach, this is going to be a good offensive line unit for whatever young quarterback wins that starting job.
Yeah, you're right. It's just how productive they're going to be, and how much change there's going to be in that offense, and with Gus calling the plays now and so on. But they should be in real good shape there. Yeah, you're right. And that defense, again, Auburn's going to be rated very high on the defense. We're going to go over defensive positions here shortly. And I think you're going to see Auburn rated pretty high defensively in the different categories. So, all 5 coming back. We've already stated how important that is. And this, again, is a big plus for Auburn.
All right, Coach, and finally, or not finally, but coming up, our next team at number 8, you've got the Washington Huskies, a team we were talking about a little bit ago. We were going over the top 10 of coaches, and by the way, I said that was from Lindy Sports. This is the ranking that's from Lindy Sports. That one was actually from Sporting News, so you can actually find that at Sporting News. Bill Bender is the one that wrote that, and he actually joined us on the Sports Drive yesterday afternoon to talk about it. Coach Peterson in that top 10 on his list. They're sitting here in the top 10 of offensive linemen. And again, Coach, no surprise with Chris Peterson as the head coach. You go even back to when Kellen Moore was at Boise State. They had a great offensive line unit there, and he continues that tradition in Washington.
Yeah, he's again, Peterson is a heck of a coach, and he's always been able to get big, good, physical offensive linemen. Even at Boise State, he did there. So, yeah, not surprising.
All right, Coach, and then we'll move now to LSU sitting there at number 9. Again, Coach, a team that needs to protect Joe Burrow but also open up those holes in the running game. LSU sitting there with the number 9 offensive line unit in the country.
Yeah, let me tell you, I don't know how they get number 9. Don't know enough about the offensive front, to be honest with you, to give a breakdown on each one of them. I do know that they feel like they're strong up the middle, the center and the guards. So they must feel like they're a little weak at the tackles. That's what I'm surmising from that report that I heard a few days ago. Now, LSU, if they're going to go as their quarterback goes this year, we've said this many times, and Joe Burrow is capable of giving them a heck of a year. So they're going to sneak up on some people. They're going to be ready to play. I think LSU's the new offense, and with Burrow in his second year, some of the skilled people they've got some skilled people there, and I don't care who says what about that. LSU's going to have good skilled people, but they got to be strong up front. So we'll say they're ninth. Usually, if you say LSU's ninth, they're probably up there around 3 or 4.
All right, Coach, and finally rounding out the top 10, we mentioned them a moment ago back when Chris Peterson was there, how they had a good, strong offensive line unit back then because of the precedent he sets. Well, it continues to this day, Coach, because Boise State coming in at number 10 as far as the 10th best offensive line unit inside the country.
Yeah, beware Florida State, because Boise State is very innovative offensively, and with their offensive line, a good offensive line, they're going to be tough to stop.
All right, Coach, well, I'll tell you what, we're going to take our final timeout of the show. When we come back, we're going to switch gears and look at the defensive line when we come back right here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
There's only one place in town for the lowest prices and greatest selection of firearms. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Visit our fully stocked Gun Pro shop for new and used firearms, accessories, and ammunition. Check out the Indoor Shooting Range. We offer rentals on guns, including fully automatic machine guns and silencers. Ladies, this is the safe place to learn how to use a gun. Plus, Tuesday is Ladies' Day. Women shoot for half price all day. The best place to buy firearms in Pensacola. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Highway 29 in Car City.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck, Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Don't drop the ball this football season. Make Tom Thumb your game day destination. We are your first round pick for snacks, chips, dips, and drinks. Are you tailgating before the game? Don't get blindsided. Head to Tom Thumb for all your supplies. Score big savings with our rewards card. You'll earn 4 fuel points for every $1 spent in store. From hot dogs and buns to ice and propane, Tom Thumb has you covered to help you enjoy the game. For the ultimate game day, team up with Tom Thumb, the local store for local champions.
Back into Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Also on your HD radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT and streaming on our website, ESPNpensacola.com. Welcome back in. Again, I am Jordan Glass. Joined alongside me, as always, Coach K. And, Coach, continuing to take a look at these lists here. We're going to switch now to the defensive side of the ball. We've got about 8 minutes left in the show, so we're going to go kind of quick here. Coach, the first team on the list, the best defensive line in the country, the Auburn Tigers, sitting there at number 1.
Amazing. Auburn's going to be defensively again, and they are. They're going to be in the. I think they were rated last year, though, in the top 5, and I don't know that they lived up to that billing, but they're going to be up there again. And Auburn's a good defensive football team, and they're going to be tough to beat. But they're think about their schedule; it's very, very difficult.
It is. It is one of the worst schedules in the entire country. Coach, a team we have yet to see on this list finally popping up, Michigan State. They are sitting here with the second best defensive line in the country and easily the best defensive line in the Big Ten.
They pride themselves in defense at Michigan State, and I'm not surprised to see them up there. They would recruit to that and really work with those kids to make them tough.
All right, Coach, we've got LSU coming in at number 3.
Not surprising. All that talent over there, they're going to be a talented football team. You're going to keep seeing that LSU pop up through all these categories.
Especially on the defensive side of the ball, and they are, go ahead and tell you, they are within the top 3 or 4 on most of these categories. All right, Coach, at number 4, you've got Ohio State.
Yeah, I heard much earlier on, that Ohio State was going to be much improved defensively. This year. Now they were a good football team anyway last year, but the offense bailed them out a lot. They're going to be a good football team, and I'm not surprised that they're rated there.
All right, and right behind them, you've got the Crimson Tide of Alabama at number 5.
I would bet you that Alabama's going to be rated higher than that. Certainly at the end of the year, I think Alabama will be up there in 2 or 3.
All right, Coach, then you've got Notre Dame, Brian Kelly's Fighting Irish, sitting there at number 6.
I'll have to see that to believe it.
Fair.
I have to see that to believe it. I don't know that Notre Dame is a 6th-rated defense in the country.
All right, Coach, then what about Utah sitting at number 7 right behind them?
Don't know enough about Utah, but they have been playing better as a team, a whole team. And they've got a good program going out there, so I'm not totally surprised.
All right, Coach. Then we've got Iowa State, another team that we were talking about them a moment ago, returning all 5 of their starting offensive linemen. We're expected to be really good on the offensive line, expected to be just as good on the defensive line as well. They're sitting here at number 8.
Yeah, hey, we're starting to see now why they're projected to be in the hunt on a lot of football games. We're going to take Iowa State. We need to take them and go through their schedule. Be a very interesting football team right now.
All right. As a matter of fact, we'll make a note, and coming up on Monday's show, Monday, we will take a look at Iowa State's schedule and break it down game by game. So, Coach, coming up next, it's going to be Clemson at number 9, the lowest we've seen them so far on any of these top 10 lists, but they still make it right there at number 9.
Well, keep in mind now, they had their whole defensive line last year was drafted in the first or second round. So they lost their whole defensive line, but they've got so much talent and so much depth. They're just replacing right now, and they should be there.
All right, Coach, and then you've got USC coming here in the final spot at number 10. They've obviously got a guy like Porter Gustin on their defensive line. Coach, this is definitely going to be a unit that's going to have to step up and play well for the Trojans if Coach Helton wants to keep his job.
Well, there's no doubt about that. They're going to have to depend on their defense because I think the league out there, that league has gotten a little better. They've got the quarterback up at Oregon. They've got to contain, and Stanford's going to have a good quarterback and a good offensive football team. So they better be able to step up some defensively.
All right, Coach, and we'll continue to take a look at these different categories next week when we come back on Monday. Coach, we'll get it started back then with the linebackers. We'll also look at the defensive back. No surprise with the top 2 teams there. They're from the SEC West. Alabama at the number 1 spot for the linebackers. LSU at the number 1 spot for the defensive backs. And we'll continue to take a look at the rest of the top 10 here, Coach. And basically what we're doing with this is we're breaking it down And, you can talk about a team or you can look at a team, but until you kind of really look at this position by position, unit by unit, like we're doing here with these top 10s, you kind of start to see a better picture, like we talk about with Iowa State. You start to see a better picture of what the team is going to be like moving into the 2019 season.
Well, you do, and we're also going to get some other inside information from scouts and other people. And then going through the schedules gives you a better picture than just saying, oh, they're a 6-4 team or 6-5 team. It's we're trying to give you information, and some of it is background information that'll help you a little bit as we get ready for football. We've got time to do it now. That's why we're going into depth on some of these issues.
Absolutely, Coach. We are about a month away, by the way, on this note. Actually, I believe we are exactly a month away from the SEC Media Days in Hoover this year. It was in Atlanta last year. They've moved it back to Hoover for this year, Coach. So it's going to be back in its original home this year. And as I said, it is June 14th, so I believe we are exactly 1 month away from that. So that's going to be exciting. We're going to be able to get to kind of learn more about the teams inside the SEC. Then a week after that, I believe it's ACC Media Days, and we'll get Big Ten Media Days as well, all coming up in July, and we'll have you covered on that as well. Coach, some sad news we do want to mention once again. Pat Bowlen, the owner of the Denver Broncos, has passed away, succumbing to his battle with Alzheimer's. So, Coach, he was 75, and again, just sad news out of the NFL. And it seems like something that we've had to do several times in the last 3 or 4 weeks is report sad news like this from either level of college football or the NFL.
Yeah, we've had unfortunately quite a few, from Bart Starr and Forrest Gregg to Bowlen, and again, this was a good man. They're all good men, but I had a lot of contact with Bart Starr and Forrest Gregg. I did not with Bowlen. Knew him, but he was genuinely a good person.
All right, well, that is going to do it for all the time we have on today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in. For Coach K, I'm Jordan Glass. This has been Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Don't forget about the Sports Drive coming up later on this afternoon at 5. Stephen A. Smith Show coming up next.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.